Another returnee from the days of Medarot Navi, and a particular, I'm going to call her main character to the series of Navi, based just because of her primary effect in the story. It is the Ladybug type LDB03 Ptolemy, and Ching's bringing a kit of Snipe, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Gunman. Now, compared to most other Fierce battles that you might see, Ptolemy, even though she is a dominant shoot fighter, especially as a conventional one, her balance is probably her best and most redeeming trait, because she may not have a lot of base power, maybe not a lot of armor either, but she makes up for it with her solid balance overall. Snipe is a pretty solid skill, as it allows for a non-piercing attack to have pierce damage, specifically shooting-based attacks, to have pierce damage on their next hit. This effect can also be applied not just to Ptolemy herself, but also to any ally on the team that she chooses to give the buff to. As a reminder though, it only lasts one turn, so after that one hit, it goes back to being a regular attack, especially if it's being a non-piercing. Rifle and Gatling, nothing new. Conventional shooting-based attacks you generally can't go wrong with. Bipeds and the leg ability of Gunman passively buffs the heat stat of all equipped shooting parts, so a nice passive there to help further bolster her balanced kit overall. Her armor's a little bit iffy. Damage, as I said as well, is kind of on the lower end, not the greatest there is, but she honestly does make up for it pretty well. Pure set score 6 out of 10, honestly, because of her balance. So if you have to use her, especially for new players that come on pretty early and don't have a lot of good parts, you generally can't go wrong with having Ptolemy, especially for mono female teams. Snipe is also a pretty, I'm not going to say it's a niche skill, but if you use it right, it can be very dangerous. Say, for instance, if you have an ally that has beam-based attacks, which has the highest base damage multiplier of the optic base at the ×2 and ×3 damage modifiers relative to your Metaforce. It is non-piercing. But if you use Ptolemy's Snipe ability on that ally, for that next turn, it does. So it can be selectively useful, especially in lower levels where Rifle doesn't necessarily have that pierce effect. So Snipe is definitely going to be pretty handy in lower levels, maybe selectively useful in higher levels, but maybe not as a primary skill overall. Mixed parts score also would be a 6 out of 10. Again, not to say that she's bad, not just that she has bad armor or attack, but because her parts can be pretty balanced, I guess you could call it, across her build, you can use them pretty much anywhere.